Today's contestants are Acharacle Primary School.
Our school was built in the late 19th century. Today there are 67 pupils and 5 teachers. Acharacle is a small village in Ardmurchan and about 150 people live here.
This is the Isle of Skye.
And this is Glasgow.
This is Acharacle.
There will be 25 pupils from Primary 5 to Primary 7 involved in this enterprise project, led by their head teacher, Mr. Smith. With help from teaching assistant, Kate McLean.
Okie dokie, we know all about Acharacle Primary School, and they look like a lovely bunch of people. Right, let's get the game started. The first step's flashing, so the question they've got to answer is... what will we do?
Mountaineer and artist Rob Fairley has close links with Acharacle Primary. He often visits the school to tell the pupils stories about climbing around the world.
So I walked right down the mountain and down a couple of days to the nearest village, and I spent a glorious Saturday doing the shopping. I did make 1 or 2 mistakes, like I bought cabbages instead of biscuits, because my Nepali is not very good. And then I rented a couple of yaks, and I drove all the shopping back up the camp.
These visits have given the pupils inspiration for their enterprise project.
It was called Annapurna. That was the last major expedition Mr. Fairley was on. There was somebody here who very strongly said, I want to do that. Next time you go, can we come with you? Do you remember? You still want to go on this mountain?
Yes.
Suggestion?
Should we do it on Ben Resipol?
Well,
If we're going to do it.
good question. Do you want to do it on Ben Resipol?
Yes.
Well, hands up the people who would like to go and carry out an expedition on Ben Resipol then. Everybody.
They want to climb Ben who?
Ben Resipol. And it's not a who, it's a what. You know, like Ben Nevis.
Oh, Ben Resipol, the mountain. I knew that all along. Now, back to the classroom.
You sure?
Yes.
Because I'm not going to undertake this with you and come along with you, Kate and I, or anybody else for that matter, unless you're absolutely committed. You know what committed means?
To decide on something what you're going to do and then don't stop.
Excellent. It occurred to me after Mr. Fairley talked to you that we had two parts really of an expedition. We had the climbing, the getting to the summit, and then we had the other part, what people actually did when they were there, what roles they carried out. These are things we really have to think about over the next few weeks as part of our arrangement.
The roles he's talking about aren't bacon rolls, they're scientific roles, because this is an exciting, energetic, environmental enterprise. And this next step begins with a brainstorm.
So you want to carry out a alien-type expedition?
Yeah, read the whole thing.
OK, fine. What do we need to do to get us there? Brainstorm. Write down all of your ideas on this sheet.
Transport to the hill. You need yaks to carry your stuff. How do you try cooperatively again?
You can't have an adult if you're climbing the mountain. You can't just go, oh, I will
That's
climb
why we're
it.
saying, like, find somebody who's got experience.
From this brainstorming session come ideas on when to carry out the expedition,
Decided to leave from May the 30th till June the 4th. That's
How many days is that?
about a week, about that.
You think you'll need as long as a week?
Not sure,
Well-
maybe a bit more.
We'll work on that. It's something we've got to decide on.
and who the school can write to for support in their enterprise.
What about coaxes? Do you have colour gas?
Yeah, but it's for companies.
Oh no, spar shop.
Maybe it's hydroelectric, colour gas, and builder's mate.
So, it's been decided that the Acharacle Primary School project is an expedition up that mountain behind me. That's Ben Resipol, all 845 metres of it. That's about a tenth the height of Mount Everest. It's March just now, and we're planning to go in about 10 weeks' time. But I hope the snow's gone by then, because it looks a bit chilly, doesn't it? Certainly does, Doogie. But there's still a whole bunch of stuff to do before they hit the hill. Let's have a look and see what's happening.
The pupils know they can't go on the expedition without adult supervision, but they don't want to leave all the organisation to others. They want to elect a leader from among themselves, but first they must decide what qualities make a good leader.
Well, the leader has to be responsible. He has to have, experience of being in charge of something and looking after a group.
Someone that listens to you.
Someone that will help and listen to you. Someone who can behave properly and not make bad decisions.
Somebody that can help if you're stuck.
It's a good leader. Somebody that we can trust.
Someone you can trust and rely on. Someone that will help you and someone that's good at organising things.
Someone who cares what is going to happen. Someone who can work cooperatively with the group. Someone who can work things out quickly. Someone who can type fast. And someone who is agile.
Good ideas.
Good ideas.
Help put the ideas into action.
Somebody who can help put the ideas into action. Good.
And if they have a job to do, put their mind to it.
Put their mind to it. And I think these are superb.
And two pupils who have these qualities are Craig and Douglas, who both want to be hill managers. That is, the person in charge of the climbing part of the expedition.
Those people who vote for Craig, raise your hands straight up if you're voting for Craig. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Those who vote for Douglas as being leader of the expedition, would you raise your hands, please? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In which case, congratulations, Craig. You have been duly elected as the leader of the expedition actually on the mountain. Douglas, you're his assistant. Anybody who would like to take on as chief organiser of the whole thing, stand.
The next stage is to vote for an overall leader for the project and the rest of the leadership team.
Thank you very much indeed.
My name is Donna McGilvery and I'm an accountant in the mountaineering expedition and I keep track of all the funds that we get.
My name's Craig McLeod. I am the hill manager. My job is to make sure everybody's okay on the hill.
My name is Lee Shepherd and I am the scientific coordinator on the expedition. My job is to help all the scientists on our expedition. My name's Amy Wallace and I'm the leader of the expedition. My job's to organise everything.
Zip, zip, zip. And up I skip. Now, this step's really important for an environmental enterprise. If this is going to be an expedition of discovery, they have to go to the people who know.
The person whose visits were an inspiration for this project, Rob Fairley, is back in the school to give the mountaineers a few tips on how best to record what they might see on their expedition.
And I am nominating 2 photographers, because obviously you're going to be using my cameras, and I need to know people who can use the cameras. Shay, who's not here, and Nicola, who's sitting quivering in the background there. Why would you want to take a camera on a hill? Callum?
To prove that you've been there and done that.
Yep, that's probably one of the best reasons. Can anybody think of any other reasons why photography would be good? So we've got a botanist in the team.
Well, we're all going to choose what we want to do, and then we'll all research things.
Oh, I see. Okay. Those of you who are researching plants, those of you who are researching things that are small, you're going to have to tell Nicola or Shay what you want photographed.
And then it's outside, so the mountaineers can practice their drawing skills. So what have you lot been asked to draw?
We've been asked to draw flowers.
And what flowers are you drawing? Are you drawing from memory or are you actually looking at something?
We're drawing the rhododendron bushes.
So what about this lot behind? What are you drawing?
Then drawing their plants.
You've got to draw them. Back inside, they're given a much more difficult subject.
Turn round. One portrait. Without turning round, can you use words to describe him?
He's got a white and green and yellow shirt on.
He's got brown and yellow laces on his boots.
He's got quite a big nose.
Eyebrows like Count Dracula.
Cool, Doogie. That last one was so lifelike, it could have been a photograph.
Yeah, very funny. Anyway, more expert advice comes from Kate McLean, who explains what science actually is.
On an expedition, what we want to become aware of is the world around us. How does it differ from where we live? So if you all close your eyes for a minute and pretend you're on top of the hill, first of all, what sense would you use to know where you are? How would you know?
The nice air.
Pardon?
Air.
Air, the temperature of the air on your skin.
Smell of flowers.
That's right, you might smell flowers. Callum?
I felt something, like a rock or something.
That's right. Touch. And any other ones? What do you hear when you wake up first thing in the morning before you open your eyes? Birds. Good, Luke. You hear birds. Okay, so science is the study of the physical world around us, the things we see, hear, touch, and smell.
Another visitor is meteorologist George Clark.
This is an expedition form of anemometer. It's there to measure wind, and it's given in a number of different scales. We've got one scale here that tells us when the wind's travelling at meters per second, and we've got another scale that says kilometers per hour. So the faster, more wind, the faster the cups go around to give us a reading. Next is temperature. Now, temperature starts to become important to our expedition. You will want to know what's going on during the day, all of the day. So a simple maximum minimum thermometer tells you what the highest temperature has been and what the lowest temperature has been. So that gives us good information.
And a local geologist, Dr. Derek Powell.
Acharacle must be just a big volcano, didn't it?
That's right. You can just see it on the map here. All those funny coloured rocks there are part of a very ancient volcano. It obviously isn't exploding lava now because that was a volcano about 50 million years ago. And this is a volcanic rock produced from a red-hot liquid that's cooled and gone solid. So you may see on Resipol dark rocks like this.
Science? Fantastic, because in this sort of enterprise you have to know a rock from a rose bush, and those kids certainly do. Now it's time to pop up too. Preparation.
It's 6 weeks since the class decided to go on the expedition, and today begins with a progress report from Anne-Marie, the company secretary.
And we've got 9 compasses from out of doors in Acharacle, and we're getting 10 tents and 10 sleeping bags from the Outward Bound in Fort William.
And James shows his classmates the flag he's been working on, which will be planted on the summit.
We might be able to stitch a mountaineering expedition there by Jesse, and then you just need to get a badge, a T-shirt badge of the Acharacle Primary School, and then stitch that on there.
Then it's time to polish some of the practical skills that mountaineers need. This is orienteering, which introduces everyone to basic map reading. Orienteers follow a set route around the course, using a map to find the various checkpoints on the way. And it's all done against the clock. It's quite an expensive thing to take an expedition onto a hill. What have you actually done to raise money and get help then?
We wrote to lots of people asking if they would help us, and we've got quite a lot of money. We've got £290.
That's from Marine Harvest,
And more funding arrives.
and it's a £50 check.
290.
As this is added to the money they've raised so far, other mountaineers weigh clothing so they know how much is comfortable to carry up the mountain. Another group practices tent pitching. And Craig, the hill manager, plans the best route to the summit.
This map, wait, see? That's that's where we're going to start from, and then we're going to go all the way up that burn. And then you see this flat ground here, that's where our first camp's going to be.
The preparations continue for the next few days so that everyone has a chance to try out their cookery skills.
It's like you just added water to it when it's not been cooked. I'm going to have to take 6 miles of extension cable and a kettle.
And make sure they know how to pack a rucksack.
First of all, I wrote to West Coast Outdoor Leisure in Fort William and asked if they would sponsor us or help us get stuff for it. And they said that they would be able to give us all the rucksacks we need. Yeah, we've got everything now. Yeah, I can wash it.
Thanks to the prepared pupils of Acharacle, this step is history. Now it's time to find out who does what on this wild and wonderful weekend.
What do you think are the 3 most important bits of equipment you are taking?
Sleeping bag, tent, and mistons.
How are you going to carry out your scientific experiments on the mountain? I would take the temperature of the air, the wind speed.
With just a few days to go until they climb the mountain, each member of the class is interviewed by the team leaders and joins one of the expedition's scientific groups.
We would like to appoint you as one of our new zoologists on our trip. We would like to appoint you as one of our botanists on the trip up Ben Resipol. We would like to appoint you as one of our new meteorologists. We would like to appoint you as one of our new geographers.
There will also be photographers and geologists on the expedition.
And what would you do about it?
And each scientist is given a procedure to follow at 6 map reference points. That's 6 points on the mountain where they have to carry out their investigations.
You will have collected information at certain points on the mountain at 400 metres. The same thing can happen. And then again, right at the summit, 845 metres high, the same thing will happen. The information will make up a picture, both inside, outside, and surrounding the mountain.
Here are the main details of the expedition. Meet at 7 p.m. Friday the 31st of May at the back of Resipol farmhouse and follow the arrows to base camp. Saturday, early start, leave camp by 8:30 a.m, set off for Camp 1, carry out investigations en route. Sunday, 3 a.m, go for summit, plant flag, do investigation work. Return to base camp by lunchtime. Amy Wallace, overall leader.
Fantastic! A whole team of scientists fit and ready to tackle Big Ben Resipol. Now it's time for them to put their ideas into action. Over to you, Mountain Man.
Well, 10 weeks ago, Ben Resipol still had some snow on it, but today, the first day of the proposed climb, you can see the snow's gone to be replaced by low cloud and strong winds, which don't seem too bad down here, but up on an exposed hillside could be very dangerous. So what the Acharacle mountaineers have to do is to decide whether or not it's safe to go ahead with the expedition. Mr. Smith has told the mountaineers that weather conditions on the hill are very dangerous, with wind speeds of 80 miles an hour, and Craig speaks for the whole group.
The weather forecast is, I think it's pretty unsafe, and I'm sure quite a lot of us feel it's pretty unsafe to go up the mountain.
So the next thing is to think of alternative arrangements. What do the mountaineers think they should do?
Bring the sleeping bags into the school because, or you could sleep outside in the tents if you wanted to.
We think that we should stay in the schoolhouse or camp out in the garden and do the experiments up in the hill, up the back, up at the dump and that, around that area.
It's too windy to pitch tents anywhere, so tonight the mountaineers will sleep in the school. Despite today's disappointment, everyone makes the most of the change in plans.
Set it.
The next morning, there's good news. The wind has dropped enough for the mountaineers to head for Ben Resipol and carry out their investigations, but only up to a height of 200 metres. First stop, the foothills of the mountain, the area that would have been base camp.
Why do you actually mark this area off with the thread?
Well, to show the answer and pick out the square.
Because every time I move the camera, I've got to focus it on again.
Is it real silver?
No.
What's it called?
It's mica or something.
Mica.
Yeah.
That's right. Then it's up to the 200-metre mark. Do you know what kind of rock that is?
No. I'll have to look up in a book.
So you plan to take that back with you?
Yeah.
We found this at the 200 metres, an owl's pellet. You can see bits of wings of beetles, it looks like. Bones as well.
Have a look at it. Looks like it's been eating sheep's hair as well, hasn't it?
The soil is wet, it has roots in it. It is like peat and smells like rotten leaves.
Phew, 2 days down and they're making it work. I knew nothing would stump these scientists. But I'm still stuck here on this step until they conquer Ben Resipol. Come on, you guys, I'm counting on ya.
So the Acharacle Primary School mountaineering expedition hasn't gone entirely to plan. But the group have shown great adaptability and have managed to complete most of the tasks they set for themselves. One thing they haven't done so far, though, is plant this on the summit. So this morning the weather's improved quite a lot, so this group, along with experienced mountaineers and me, are planning to climb Ben Resipol. Let's go. As they only have a day to climb the mountain instead of a whole weekend, a smaller group has volunteered to head for the summit.
Here we go, our journey starts. Boots, waterproofs and rucksacks. On the way up, probably, we'll have lots of things to see. The stony path on which we walk, the tall trees with thick stalks, and the green grass and soft moss. We'll be hiking to the top of the hill, so here we come, Ben Resipol.
I see the mountains, I see the trees, I see the rocks, I take note of these. I see the sky, I see the snow, I see the loch far below. I see the rivers rushing by, being fed by the murky sky.
Going up Ben Resipol with everything we need. Going up Ben Resipol, but not at great speed. Going up Ben Resipol, our feet starting to ache. Going up Ben Resipol, the summit we hope to make.
Been going now for 2.5 hours, we've reached this far. That's the summit up there, and everyone's just over there getting a jelly baby for energy, and I think I might join them. Hey, you got a jelly baby for me? Where's the school from here?
That way.
Right over
Where
there?
all those little white bits are, you can see.
Think they can see us? Give them away. Do you think the expedition's been worthwhile?
Definitely.
What's been best bit?
Climbing up.
Climbing up.
I'm happy to have climbed to the top, and I just think it's good to skate.
Great, they've done it, but there is one more step before I can make the zone my own. This is an environmental enterprise, so they still have to show me the end result.
2 weeks after the expedition, the Acharacle mountaineers have designed a scientific profile of the mountain using the samples, measurements and information they collected over the weekend. The end result is a wall display clearly showing what happens in, on and around Ben Resipol. and the group share personal recollections from the expedition.
When we started climbing, I thought I wouldn't make it, but when I got higher and higher, I thought, this is too easy.
I've enjoyed seeing the waterfalls and walking through the forests.
We took 288 photos on our expedition. We took these photos for the school record and so we can remember our expedition.
It was fun to do it because it was a good day for investigations about animals.
The good parts about the leadership of the expedition were that they were never arguing and they would always listen to each other's opinions.
I was enjoying it so much on the summit that I didn't want to come down and would like to go up again.
With the final word going to Amy, the overall leader.
This is the hardest bit. We have planned it, we have done it, and it's over. Well, just about. My thanks to the scientists who have carried out their investigations so thoroughly. Just as important is for us to make sure that the balance of nature is not interfered with. Probably the biggest lesson from all this whole thing is learning how to work together constructively.
Fantastic! Finally made it into the zone thanks to the mountaineers who just didn't know the meaning of the word no. Now it's time to meet the Empress of the expedition, the Mistress of the Mountain, the Scientific Supremo, Miss Amy Wallace! Great work, Amy. Well done. Now a prize for you and the rest of the Acharacle Primary School Mountaineering Expedition. Well, you know what the weather's like where you come from. So, do you think it was all worthwhile?
Well, we were disappointed when the weather turned nasty, but nothing could stop us from getting to the top.
Well, you certainly got to the top again today. What do you think the view's like from up here?
Nothing special.
Oh, well, thanks, Amy. That's all from the Enterprise Zone for today. I'm Ed Zed, and remember, you're never alone in the zone. Goodbye.
Details of